The human heart is always in search of love, always looking to be one with another person. When we are kids, we try to find this love in our parents. That's when they become great people in our eyes. Every girl's first hero is her father, and every boy's first love is his mom. As we grow up, we try to find this special bond in our friends. And later on, sometime during our teen years, we start looking for the love of the one in the opposite sex. But oftentimes, even after searching and looking for the one, marrying and experiencing the love of the one, we are just not satisfied with the love we get. And so we keep looking for the right person with whom we can be one with in the circle of our friends, relatives, cousins, and we keep going in circles to find this love. But nobody ever seems to add up to our expectations. These days, we see a lot of extramarital affairs happening, and people search for love outside their marriages. And this is exactly the story we see in John chapter 4 about the Samaritan woman. Now, this woman has been married 5 times and she now lives with a man who is not her husband. So she is now the 6th man in her search for love. And Jesus goes to speak to such a woman. According to the law of Moses, this woman was supposed to be stoned to death. But yet, we see Jesus goes in search of this woman and sits at the well that she visits daily during the exact hour of her visit and waits for her. And why would he do that? Is it possible that Jesus knew that she was not driven by the lust in her heart to marry those 5 men, but because she had been looking for this love from the one? And so Jesus went to declare to her that he is the one that she has been looking for all her life. And he starts speaking about streams of life-giving water to her. Now, why would he speak about life-giving water to an adulterous woman? Maybe that's because he knew that she had been looking for these waters all her life but never found it in any man. So Jesus went to declare to her that he is the source of this life-giving water, and if she drank out of him, she would have a never-ending supply of it and her heart will be full. And the Bible describes that she did not despise the teachings of Jesus like the Pharisees did, but instead became overjoyed and ran all around the town declaring about Jesus. Now, this reaction of hers also hints us about her intentions. Had she been driven about by lust, then these teachings about streams of life-giving waters will make no sense to her. But because she had been driven by her intense desire for love and good life, that when she met Jesus, her search ended and joy overtook her. If any of you thirst, you must come to Jesus. He is the source of all good life, the life-giving water whose supply will never end. God sees into the hearts of men and sees into every intention and desire in our hearts. And just like he went in search of the heart of the Samaritan woman who was thirsty all her life, he now comes in search of each one of us who are thirsty and still looking for the one. In John chapter 13, just before the Last Supper, Jesus washes the feet of his disciples. Now, why would the king who created everything, who owns everything, humble himself down to wash the feet of his own disciples? Why would he do that? That's because he came to show us how much he loves us, that we mean the world to him and he loves us beyond everything, and that he would forsake everything, all his creations, for our sake. He did not just come only to do his work. During his lifetime, Jesus fulfilled hundreds of prophecies that the prophets before him spoke. And on the cross, he fulfilled his purpose and the assignment the Father had given him. And he could have just left with that. He could have simply said, "Guys, I've finished it. It's all done. Just follow me." And he could have left it there and left with that. Why did he have to go to the length of humbling himself down even below his own creations and wash our feet? That's because he did not just come to fulfill his purpose and do the work, but also to show us how much he loves us and how important we are to him. that we mean the world to Him and that He would go to any lengths for our sake. It is this love that binds us to Jesus. If any of you yearns for this love, then you need Jesus. It is this love that He came to demonstrate, that we mean everything to Him and that He will do everything for you and me, and that nothing can keep Him from loving us. And even though you and I cannot fully appreciate and reciprocate this love, that has not stopped God from loving us. He has still made His love available to us.